Hello, my name's Mark Haley with Prism Hospitality Consulting. Pleased to have longtime friend and colleague Kareem Taha from White Elephant Resorts, Vice President of Information Technology, join us today. Kareem, I hear it's a beautiful day there on Nantucket Island.
Hi, Mark. Yeah, we finally got some sun. We're getting the daffodils are coming out, and it's getting warm. So we're excited.
Okay. Kareem, maybe you could tell us a little bit about White Elephant Resorts, please?
Yeah, no. First, thank you for having me. Nantucket White Elephant Resorts is a collection of luxury boutique hotels that started off as one little small property at the Walwinet, and from there just kind of started growing. It was kind of a hobby at first, and then they realized like the passion behind the hospitality and welcoming guests and sharing kind of the beauty of this island, and it's grown from there. We not only have the White Elephant Nantucket, the Wawanet, a couple of other boutique hotels. We also have the Nantucket Boat Basin, which is the marina on the island of over 250 slips. And then about 5 or 6 years ago, we decided to expand and try to bring kind of the hospitality and what made us successful on the island off island to our first flagship White Elephant Palm Beach. And now we are currently very close to opening White Elephant Aspen. So we're really excited.
Okay, so Nantucket, Palm Beach, Aspen. My guess is that your clientele kind of visits all of those places.
Yeah, no, it worked out. And at first, honestly, it was just kind of like it happened to fall that way with Palm Beach. And then we realized, like, oh, wait, it's kind of the same pattern, migratory pattern, essentially, of our guests. And the feedback was great. I think people were surprised to see us in Palm Beach and then realize, like, oh, this feels very familiar, yet unique to the area that we're in. So that was kind of exciting to see that happen, sort of by accident, but also, kind of by design after the fact, after Palm Beach went live.
Okay, so your next stop will be Napa Valley or Santa Fe.
You can kind of predict, right? Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, just follow the private jets. Anyway, Kareem, maybe to provide a little more context here, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background? How did you get your start in hospitality? And particularly, how did you come to Nantucket Island and White Elephant?
Yeah, no, for me, my start in hospital, I grew up in Orlando, Florida. So in Orlando, you really only have a couple of options for jobs. You're either working at a restaurant, a hotel, or a theme park for the majority of your like opportunities. So for me, that was kind of where I landed during college. I worked for a culinary academy, the Career Education Corporation, like Orlando Culinary Academy, as an IT specialist, which then, while I was trying to get my degree, which then translated to becoming a systems administrator with them. And then after that, I ended up grabbing a job at Hilton Hotels, Walt Disney World. At that time, Hilton had purchased like the Waldorf in Hawaii, and our director of IT got the opportunity to take that over. And when he was leaving, he had seen some things for me and recommended me to be like interim director of IT while they were looking to figure out the regional kind of position, because there was like embassy suites and other smaller properties that were supported by that property. So that's really how I got my start in technology, in hospitality with Hilton, and kind of the rest is history.
Well, thanks for that background, Kareem. I think it proves that, like most careers, there's no straight line, but when you look back at it, it all makes sense.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Talking specifically about some of your experiences there at White Elephant, tell us what's the single most successful technology initiative that you've led at White Elephant, and what's coming next?
Man, that is a hard one. um, over the years, I don't know if there's a single one. I think I'll give you this. I'll give you my philosophy. Right, when you come into an environment, we can tend to fall into a trap of doing like the flashy thing. Right, what is going to look, what's going to make the biggest splash. And for me, I wanted to take an approach of, let's address the fundamentals and the foundation of the vision, which is really underpinned by the infrastructure. So the way we attacked it, and the thing that I'm probably most proud of, that isn't really direct and kind of in front of the guest. And for me, that kind of aligns with my vision for tech. Is it's best when it's not seen. It's best when it's not something that's in your face. You don't even know it's working, right? Um, and for me, it was addressing the infrastructural foundational issues of being, just the fact that you're on an island 30 miles out to sea. And it applies not only to the island, it applies to other locations off the island, in remote areas, things like that. I think infrastructure was the big thing. And I felt like if we establish the infrastructure, whether it's the fiber or SD-WAN, interconnectivity reliably, then we could do anything. And once that was put in place and we were able to kind of build it the way that I thought would help for growth and scalability, it unlocked all sorts of possibilities, and then it made the journey to establishing new tech or adding something not a heavy lift. It became just like the normal procedure, not like we have to reinvent the wheel to add this feature for our guests. It's like, okay, this is normal, this is standard, we should just add it. And that's probably what I've been most proud of, is really the underpinning of the tech stack.
Okay, sort of a foundational strategy of get the infrastructure right, and then you can build on top of that platform.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so talking about technology a little bit more, uh, what drives technology investment decisions at White Elephant, and particularly, what do you look for out of a potential new technology partner?
Service. Unfortunately, it's service.
Okay.
When I'm looking at tech, or technology partner, I should say, what really tech has become very, it's very neutral, right? A lot of things that company A can do, company B can do, right? Especially with AI, right? Now these things and SaaS models that are cloud hosted, they're very similar, and they might have one or two minor things that may be an advantage here and a disadvantage here. But really, for me, the decision process when choosing a partner is service. And without getting into direct examples, I've had situations where maybe company A might have a slightly better product, slightly, marginally, but their service, from pre-sales to sales to feedback from others, wasn't great. And then you have someone that has maybe a product that's like, it can do it, it can definitely do the job. It's not shiny, it's not pretty, it's doing everything that we needed to do, but their team is so committed to being, hey, just pick up the phone calls. We're not going to make you jump through hoops. There's no bureaucracy. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna help you as best as we can. And that, to me, I think has been really successful for us, because just like our guests expect us to resolve a situation or help, or actually proactively guess what the problem might be, and fix it instead of being reactionary. We expect the same thing from our support, because if they do it for us, then we're able to respond quickly to our guests.
Okay, got it. I think by way of analogy, maybe a Lexus with a great dealership down the road might be more valuable to you than a Bentley where the dealership's off the island.
It's a great analogy. 100%. Yeah.
So, okay, so let's talk about where you're at today for a minute, please, Kareem. What's the biggest challenge relative to technology in front of you right now? What's keeping you up at night?
Um, I think a couple of things for me. The biggest challenge over the years has been, and it still continues to be, and it's something that I keep like just noodling over, and anyone that's sat with me like to have a drink or dinner, they'll hear me talk about this until they're like, all right, Kareem, we get it, like stop talking about it. Is the kind of the whole, it's the disparate systems, right? To do a single task that should be simple has become kind of co-opted by different companies, and it's been like, okay, company A does this really well, company B does this really well, company C does this really well, but the total solution involves you interfacing with 4 or 5 different systems, when the core piece, right, usually in most hotels the core piece is the property management system. And because the property management system can't do everything for everyone at all times, you end up relying on all these third parties, but they have different ways of integrating and interfacing, and their data sets are different. So for me, there's this difficulty to have a streamlined solution, because now you're out in the marketplace shopping, and then you're trying to custom build an interface via an API to make it work with your PMS, only to provide one solution out of many that you need. So I feel like a standardization of like, okay, this is kind of the hospitality interface standard, and that works with everyone. A marketplace like that they have to follow certain guidelines to make it easier on hotels to provide solutions for their guests. I think that's a difficulty that really, there's a lot of work that goes behind that, and I feel like it can be streamlined and easier. The other thing that keeps me up is just like, as this industry keeps growing and has shown resiliency through, especially in the post-COVID times, the cybersecurity threat. There's a target there, and we've seen an uptick in breaches across the board. Big brands, small brands, providers for these hotels, third party vendors, and I think sometimes we lose sight of, if this was a tech company, you're really focused on these things. A lot of times in hospitality, the technology piece, yes, while we focus on it, it's not always like front of mind. It's also not the thing that gets the most money approved, right? So I think cybersecurity, especially with AI, like we discussed, is really important to harden that, for the guest safety and our team member safety.
Yeah, and I think that's of particularly crucial importance to your clientele.
Absolutely, absolutely, and PCI compliance has always been a thing, and we take very seriously, and we've done a lot, whether it's third-party consultants and audits, and really vulnerability scans, but it goes further than that, right? It's email communication, it's phone communication, it's securing it, just like you want to make sure that the guest room is locked, right? That the door locks work. It's the same thing, because the first thing that guest does when they come in, aside from unpacking or putting their suitcase down, is the first question that's asked is, "What's your Wi-Fi?" So you're taking responsibility for that.
I hear you. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit and take a broader perspective on boutique luxury lodging in general. What are some of the big trends that you're seeing out there in this space?
I think for me, for the boutique luxury experience, what I'm seeing trending is, it is that personalized one-to-one experience, right? And I think that's what's separating the luxury segment, from other markets, is it's a personalized experience every step of the way, and there isn't like this huge wait, or you're not doing the whole, like, you're at a theme park waiting in line. You're coming in, there's someone recognizing, and also, like, I think the focus has become anticipating needs. I stumbled across this tech company that was creating IoT devices, Internet of Thing devices, and it wasn't really like front of house stuff. It was, because we were suite heavy, there were sensors that you install in, let's say, like, for our suites, we have full kitchens, dishwasher, sink, all that stuff, and you install like a leak detection sensor, you install an HVAC sensor, you install a humidity sensor in these rooms, and what this does is it kind of detects the leak before the guest even notices it, or detects that the fan coil didn't trigger enough times as like what the standard should be, and so there could be potentially an HVAC problem coming. And what ends up happening is that sends an alert to our engineering team. The engineering team will show up at the door, knock on the door, and say, "Hi, we're here, Mark, just because we noticed that there might be a potential issue with your dishwasher." They're like, "Oh, I just used it. There was nothing wrong with it." And literally, they anticipate the service, they fix it, and leave. And that has been kind of like a game-changing, mind-blowing thing for our guests. Like, oh, I don't even know how they knew that. And this is something that didn't require rebuilding infrastructure. It was just requiring the thought of, like, what would look cool, like what would be really, really cool, that's kind of behind the scenes, that if I was a guest at a hotel and someone knocked on my door and, like, I think we just need to take a look at your AC, you might be having a problem, before it becomes a problem. I think that's the definition of luxury.
Every room gets a full-time engineer.
Essentially, yeah, without adding body count.
Yeah, yep. Pretty cool. Want to say thank you for your time. The readers of Hospitality Upgrade certainly appreciate it as well. I hope to see you soon. I'll make it over to the island at some point this summer. And if you're on the mainland, you know how to find me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode. We look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great one. Scan the QR code on your screen to connect with us. We appreciate you joining the conversation, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Viewpoint podcast series.